Welcome to a place where hearts unwind, infinite threads that gently bind, love and compassion in every line. Together we rise through space and time.
Welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm your host, Bob, and this is episode 102. The stories we tell ourselves and the love that gets buried beneath them. Bum, bum, bum. Have you ever caught yourself repeating a story about your life so often that it became your truth, even if it was never really true? We all do this. All of us. Sometimes it's subtle. I've never been good with people. I always mess things up. No one ever really listens to me. This is just who I am. Other times it's deeply rooted in pain. They left me because I wasn't enough. My father never loved me. I'm broken. Love is something I have to earn. We build these stories as survival mechanisms, our way of making sense of the heartbreak, the rejection, the confusion. But over time, those narratives don't just explain our pain, they become the prison that keeps us from healing it. And worse, they bury the love that's been there underneath it all. Today, we're digging into how these internal narratives take hold, how they continue shaping our emotions and decisions long after the original event is over, and how to let them go. Because behind every one of those stories is something more. A child who wanted to be loved. A soul that wanted to be seen. A heart that still longs to connect. And that is the truth we're going to find again. Let's begin with this. We are the authors of our own experience, but most of us are working from someone else's outline. A parent's neglect, a teacher's cruel words, a partner's betrayal. Those moments become a script, and we keep performing it, even after the curtain should have closed. We walk into new rooms assuming people won't like us. We back away from love because we know how this ends. We don't ask for what we need because we've been too much before. But what if the story was wrong? What if the real version of you, the loving, connected, whole self, has been buried under a pile of old pages? Let me offer something radical to you here. You are allowed to rewrite the story, not by denying what happened, but by choosing the truth that lives beyond it. Here's the truth. You were always lovable. You were always worthy. And you were always enough. And anything that told you otherwise, even if it felt real, was never rooted in unconditional love. So how do we rewrite the story? It starts with noticing the script. You got to know it's happening. Next time you hear that old voice inside say, "I'm not good enough," well, pause and ask yourself this. Whose voice is that? When did I first hear it? And what does love have to say about it? There's the question. Love always responds differently. Love says, you tried. Love says, you're growing. Love says you're not alone. And love doesn't need you to earn your worth. It already knows who you are. That's the beauty of what we call here the thread of compassion. It winds through everything, even when you don't feel it, even when your story tells you it's not there. Let's bring it into your everyday life now. When you catch yourself reacting emotionally to something like a coworker's comment, a partner's silence, a missed opportunity, ask, is this about what just happened, or is this about the story I've been carrying? If your story is that people always leave, you might take a late text message as proof that you're being abandoned. If your story is that you're invisible, you'll feel personally erased when somebody forgets to include you. But those aren't facts. They're filters. You know how filters work. And once you remove the filter, you make room for love. So here's your invitation this week. Choose one story you've told yourself over and over, the one that feels oldest, deepest, most familiar. Write it down. Then underneath it, write what love would say instead. Like, for example, old story. I'm not lovable unless I'm useful. Love's rewrite. I am loved because I am. Just because I am, not because of what I do. Old story. They never really saw me. Love's rewrite. I see myself now, and that is enough. That small act, that's where healing starts. That's where the healing presence of love enters and the rewriting begins. We say this on Infinite Threads again and again. The stories we tell ourselves either bind us or they free us. And every one of them is a chance to choose love. We make the choice. The truth is, unconditional love was never outside of you. It was just waiting underneath the rubble of your story. And now, piece by piece, you're uncovering it. So here's to turning the page, to finding the plot twist, to choosing a better ending. Because love was always the author. Always. And now, so are you. Thanks for listening to Infinite Threads, guys. If this episode touched you, consider sharing it with someone who might need a rewrite too. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I love you all very much. Until then, may you walk gently with love leading the way. And do remember, I love you. I love you all very, very much. And you know what I need you to do. Go pass it on. Later, Gators. Bye.
Every story, every voice, in this love we all rejoice. Infinite threads, here we go. Welcome friends, enjoy the show. Every story, every voice, in this love we all rejoice. Infinite threads, here we go. Welcome friends, enjoy the